Well, as usual, the picture that we can paint at the end of each session of the main UN human rights body, that is the UN Human Rights Council, with its 47 member states from all regions of the world, is obviously complex and always has to be nuanced. It's never all positive or all negative, right? It reflects the state of the world we are in and we live in. And definitely, this world is full of intersecting crises, conflicts, attacks on international law, multilateralism, and on international aid and assistance at a time where they are so direly needed for the survival of millions of people, including in Gaza, in Sudan, in Ukraine, in Myanmar. And we see a clear regression in the protection of human rights and the respect for the law and the respect for the role of independent justice systems as a vital democratic element. And this at all levels and in countries that used to be championing these at home, but also at the UN. And this means that the states and the actors who want to see impunity for human rights violations prevail feel very emboldened. At the same time, human rights defenders, civil society actors, and a number of states still stand firm to the very values that were at the origin of the creation of the United Nations 80 years ago, but also of the Human Rights Council almost 20 years ago. This complex picture was very concretely reflected in the discussions we had at the 59th session of the Human Rights Council that ended in July. And one example of these was the renewal of a mechanism to document the grave human rights situation in Eritrea. The state of Eritrea tried to stop this international scrutiny under the auspices of the Human Rights Council by proposing their own resolution demanding the end of that mandate, of that mechanism, but it could be fortunately defeated by a large majority of member states of the Council. And this sent an important signal that the international community is still able to act on serious human rights crises and situations in the context of the Human Rights Council. Another example or manifestation, let's say, of the global crisis in the work of the Council is the impact of the financial crisis on its activities, on the activities of the Council. Meeting time had to be reduced. Some reports, some discussions can simply not take place. And actually, everybody is considering the lack of funds when deciding to deal with a thematic issue or a country situation, which should definitely not be the case. Human rights, the rule of law, and justice are so fundamental to development and peace that in the current state of the world, they certainly should not be sacrificed any more than before, but on the contrary, they should be strengthened.